Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It can happen to you, it can happen to me, it can happen to everyone eventually. Will it? That's the deal. Is it being in the right place at the right time? Is it pot luck or is it the grind? Is it work ethic? Is it doing it twice as hard to the person to your left or to the person to your right? I do not know. Maybe you just come from the silver spoon and maybe daddy has got a whole package of cash that's just there waiting for you. But that should be the goal, right? That should be the strive. Be happy. Work for it. You know? I want to see smiles here in Duval. Ear to ear. I want good people with good people. I want happy people. What's going to make you happy? Jaguars winning football game. Sure, but that's months away. We're closing out May. What do you got planned? I sense an outstanding weekend here in Duval. I think a lot of babies are going to be made this weekend. I think there's going to be boating. I think there's going to be golfing. I think there's going to be beach time. And frankly, I don't know what else there would be to do. Out of those three, that's perfect, right? I mean, how good can life be if you're able to do those three things, or any one of those three if that's, what you want? Fishing, I think I'd throw in there. I'm not a fisherman. I'm just not. As a matter of fact, the last time I went deep sea fishing, I didn't even pick up a rod. I just kind of hung out and drilled beers. Had a fantastic time. But I hope you have a great time. The weekend, it just feels like the weekend really started early. I don't know why. It just feels like a lot of people said, Friday, forget about it. Okay, I'm out of here. Let's make this, we got a 3-day weekend. Let's make it another 3-day weekend and get after it on this Friday. So hopefully you're having a good one, and we got a ton to do here over the next couple of hours. How about Edmonton last night? You see the measurement, the speed on Connor McDavid, more than 22 miles per hour on that breakaway. He is the best player on this planet. And as a matter of fact, Edmonton is actually favored in the Stanley Cup Finals. Minus 120 against Florida. Of course, the extra day rest, very important for the Florida Panthers. But I think you would agree that it's so hard to repeat nowadays. It just is. Kansas City just tried to repeat. Didn't happen, right? The Boston Celtics just tried to repeat. Didn't happen. Michigan in football tried to repeat. Didn't happen, although we saw that one coming when Harbaugh left and a lot of very talented players did leave. We've had situations like this before in the Stanley Cup Finals. It is a rematch from 7 games in that series a year ago, which was simply spectacular. And we're going to get the same thing beginning on June 4th, so look forward to that. Jessica Blaylock joined us last night. Of course, she's been covering the Florida Panthers for a very long period of time. I will have her on once again during the Stanley Cup Final. Peter DeBoer, the head coach of the Dallas Stars, made a colossal mistake. I mean, an egregious mistake. Almost a fireable mistake. Even though you're in a conference championship game, you would think you would be safe. There have been examples. I think it was Dick Hauser, the late Dick Hauser, who won either 100 or 102 games with the New York Yankees, and George Steinbrenner still fired him. I mean, to this day, it's just amazing that did take place. But for DeBoer last night to go pull Otter the way that he did. Arguably Dallas's best player, Jake Ottinger, taking him out of goal with 7 minutes into the first period. Again, he gave up some goals. And then you bring in the replacement, first shot on goal, bam, 3-0, Edmonton up. They never looked back, so now you do move on. But I understood what he was trying to do. He came out and said, listen, I was trying to spark the team. We're down early 2-0, and every once in a while moves get made to try to spark a team. You can change a quarterback in the NFL. You can sit down your star in the NBA. But this would be like having a star pitcher, one of the great pitchers right now in Major League Baseball, and having him get roughed up and going out and taking him out of the game in the first inning. And that's exactly what Dallas did a night ago. So this is going to be great. For those of you who have been enjoying the National Hockey League playoffs, it's only going to get better. Again, it will be Florida and Edmonton, and health is going to be an issue here. No doubt about it. This has all the makings of what I think will be a 7-game series, and it should end up being pretty spectacular. All right, the Jaguars will be on the field twice next week, and that's great because that's going to give us 2 more opportunities to go out there and take a look at this football team. I'm asked during the program, which I love, and I'm also asked when I'm out and about, how do they look? What's going on? And my answer is always speed. That's the first thing that you recognize. This is a fast team. This is the fastest team that I can think of that they have seen in quite some time. And then the other topic that comes up, and I've tried to get after this, but because of guests and really the flow of the show, I haven't really had an opportunity to do it steadily along with your input. And I figured I'd throw that out on a Friday. I'm going to throw it out now. Then I'm going to throw it out after Matt Hayes joins me. We need to take a look at what's going on in college football. And Matt Hayes is one of the very best when it comes to knowledge of this game, not only between the lines, but in this case, outside the lines. I mean, what's really going on? And what do you want to have happen as a college football fan? Again, I think college and pro, it's so different as far as your mindset. I think there's more of a gut feeling in college football. I think it hits you right in the gut where, the Jaguar fans, it's the heart, right? I mean, your head every year tells you, oh, no, here we go again. But it's your heart where you have that love affair. There's something about the pit of your stomach in college football that I've never really been able to explain. But to me, that's the big difference between the two. And unfortunately, nowadays, there's not a huge difference. And I think it's sad. I think it's sad for the youngsters out there who will not get an opportunity to really know what college football is all about when you bring in a recruiting class and you watch them develop and you know your roster. And again, we all have to adapt to these changes. It's the way that it is. And I don't know if it's going to be fixed anytime soon. But it is a mess, especially when you hear rumors that, Greg Sankey is so powerful. He is by far the most powerful man in college football. And, Nick Saban stepped away. Nick Saban, I believe, stepped away probably because of these issues, because of what's going on, particularly with the NIL and with the transfer portal. So that's coming up here in just a little bit. We're going to begin the program with Matt Hayes joining me to take a look at everything that has happened. We know that they changed the seedings, right? It's going to be a straight seeding process. But really, the two biggest questions, we're headed to a 16-team college football playoff. And that's great. More the better. And, do you still get first-round games on campus? Do you want to tie in some bowl games? I used to be all about earning a first-round game on campus. I thought that was spectacular, right? And the buys didn't work. I mean, you put a 12-team college football playoff out there, and the 4 teams who got a bye all lost when they came back and played during the quarterfinals. And again, for those who were against it and say, oh, we should have never left the 4-team college football playoff, your argument does not work. When you have Ohio State knocking off Notre Dame and you have an 8 seed over a 7 seed, it doesn't work. Okay? The top 4 seeds went home. So before you spit out foolish comments like that, do just a little bit of homework. All you have to do is hop on the Google and put in 2024 college football playoffs. And you say, top 4 seeds were one and done. Wow. You're trying to tell me the national championship pitted teams that were ranked that low? Yeah. Go back and look at it. Ohio State and Notre Dame. So that is a huge decision that has been made, but where are we going next? Are we going to have the 4-4-2-2-1-3? Right? 4 of the SEC, 4 from the Big Ten, 2 from the tiny little ACC, 2 from the Big 12, 1 small conference school, right? We got to represent the small conference people, right? I mean, absolutely. Give me a break. And then 3 at large. Is that what we do? Or do we go 5-11? 5 conference champions, 11 at large. I love that. I love the 11 at large. Give me the 11 best teams at large in college football and the 5 that's what I would want. But we'll talk to Matt Hayes about that. And you can say whatever you want. You can add this, you can add that. This is going to come down to one person and what one person decides. That's Greg Sankey. He is absolutely the man with the gavel when it comes to the sport of college football. Back to the topic that I meant to get to, and I will throughout the entire program tonight. The weakest position group for this football team is fascinating to me because without even hesitating, and I get asked this quite a bit, I'm still going to say it's the offensive line. And I give them total credit for identifying and being responsible when it comes to this position. They brought in 6 new offensive linemen for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But when I look at the offense, quarterback, wide receivers, tight end, running backs, it's not even close. It's the offensive line. You can make an argument about the interior defensive line. You could make an argument about a rush edge, but it's not going to go anywhere because arguably 2 of their best players are on the edge, and they finally have gone out and added something that Trent Baalke did not in Emmanuel Ogbah, right? I think linebackers, no. I think they're solid against the run. Looking forward to this new zone defense. Talked to Ventrell Miller about that this week. Are they going to be any better in coverage? Time will tell. The secondary is maybe where you'll go, particularly safety, right? The second corner opposite Tyson Campbell, who he himself needs to have a better year. And who is going to be that corner? I mean, Buster Brown's had a really good early camp. Travis Hunter's going to get snaps. Do you start Lewis at that corner and then put him in the slot once you go to nickel? Does Jarian Jones win the job? So that's wide open. But I think that it's still a really good conversation. And I guess, I'm asking you for the weakest position group, but it's almost like I'm not daring you. I want to see where you think it's another position not named the offensive line. Honestly, that's what I want to see. Because I think we're caught up in some name recognition with returners, and it's almost like it's a given when you get to they'll be fine there. Yeah, this, that. And I'm like, no, they won't. The offensive line has been absolutely awful. And you're not going to move up if you don't fix that offensive line. And again, 4 free agents, 2 draft picks. We'll see. Right now, I can't tell anything because they're not hitting. Liam Cohen said some very good things about that offensive line just this week. And I hope, obviously, for your sake, that this offensive line, the light goes on for him. and they become a nasty group. And they become the leaders of this football team because as of late, they have been anything but. They have been a colossal disappointment. So, again, I'm going to throw that out the entire show. What do you believe the weakest position group is right now on the Jaguars roster? All right, opening comments brought to you by Shmunez Vision. I cut the lawn. And, I did this new trick that Dr. Neil Shmunez told me about helping yourself out of pollen. A couple of things to do with Johnson & Johnson's baby shampoo, believe it or not. Put it on a rag and then do some things with your eyes and on your eyelids. Stuff that I was never even aware of. I've only done it now for a couple of days, so I can't tell you that it's been overwhelming. But here's the deal. I didn't think I had an issue anyway. It's like my eyes aren't red. I don't have allergies. I don't sneeze. I don't cough. I don't do any of that. He said, yeah, you got a little bit of a problem there. You got to take care of it. So I've done this. And that's why I visit him. Okay. 9 years ago, same deal. I rolled in there. I'm like, what's going on? Good to see you. He's like, bro, you got to have this removed out of your right eye immediately. I'm like, what are you talking about? I see fine. There's no problem. He's like, listen, it's got to come out. Surgery the next day. Right there by Dr. Neil Shmunez. Check them out. They are unbelievable. No matter what your situation is with your eyes, please stop putting it off. Make yourself an appointment today. Go to Shmunez Vision. You can check them out online. You can also go to Instagram. Get the very latest testimonial-wise at Shmunez Vision. All right, fired up for this Friday. No doubt about it. We got a ton to do over the next couple of hours. Let's start with the state of college football as we know it. My colleague Matt Hayes joins us, and we go into the night.
This is 1010XL.
The fans have rallied around us.
Home of the Jaguars fans.
It's really, really cool. It's a cool experience that I'll always remember that.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Spring and summer registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball. Plus, all new girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows. I-9 Sports with fields and gyms all over 3 counties. And the best thing is I-9 Sports offers sports year-round so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
I'm Drew Scrimshire, president and publisher of the Jacksonville Business Journal. In business, timing is everything. That's why every morning at 8:15, our morning edition delivers the most important business news straight to the inboxes of Jacksonville's decision makers, executives, entrepreneurs, investors, and industry leaders. Want to know what the First Coast power players are reading before they start their day? Join them. Subscribe today to the Jacksonville Business Journal Morning Edition at bizjournals.com/Jacksonville.
The 2025 season schedule has dropped, and single-game tickets are on sale now. Be at the bank to watch Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL. Don't miss your favorite matchup and secure your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. See you this fall, Jags fans.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision. I love it.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Tonight's show brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. I'm going to tell you all about them in just a few. Just go to alexanderlawpractice.com. Let's bring in my colleague, Matt Hayes. Of course, you get him each and every day, 2 to 4. And he also covers college football for USA Today. Triumph talking to me, a Canadian band. For those of you who do not know, Matt Hayes knew that. He's a rock and roll enthusiast as well. How you doing, Matt?
First off, you start your show with Yes lyrics, which I love. That's a great song you can have. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Then you come back with the bumper music with me with Triumph. I mean, you are literally talking dirty to me right now.
Well, we've known each other for 30 years, and I think you've always known that this sports stuff is fun. But I really want a graveyard shift from like 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. doing nothing but playing classic rock and smoking 3 packs of Chesterfields while I do it.
If you get it, I'm with you. How about that?
That's what I want. It is. It's what I've always wanted. And the problem with me is I'd only play like 5 songs an hour. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Hey, listen, you and I love this sport. Our listeners love this sport. I'm really concerned about where we are and where we're headed. Let's begin with the positive. I like the addition of the 12-team college football playoff, and I certainly love the talk of a 16-team college football playoff. Take us through it, and we know both models, 5 and 11 or the 4-4-2-2-1-3. Which one do you prefer?
I mean, honestly, I'd be a lot happier if they just did all 16 at large.
Okay.
I would much rather see that. I don't think they're going to do that. I think at one point that's what Greg Sankey wanted, all at large, when they were at 12. I don't know if he's willing to do all at large at 16. Rick, there's so much backstory and history to this that I think it kind of goes kind of under the radar. If you remember back with the Alliance, the Big Ten and the ACC and the Pac-12, when those guys got together, they were after the SEC added Texas and Oklahoma, they thought that it was shenanigans going on, and the SEC went behind everybody's back. So they had this alliance that they got together, and they called it. Remember this, Rick? They were like minds, like higher education minds. In other words, the SEC was not. Okay, so the SEC presidents and Sankey were number one insulted by that. All right, but more so, what they did with that alliance is they delayed the 12-game playoff. They delayed the implementation of it, okay, basically out of spite to the SEC. And Sankey worked for like a year and a half with former ACC Commissioner John Swofford, former Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby, and former Notre Dame Athletic Director Jack Swarbrick on that playoff format. I mean, they did a lot of work on that to come up to make everybody happy. And then those three get together in this quote-unquote alliance and stalled it for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also the same group that, not even a year after they had this alliance, the Big Ten stabs the Pac-12 in the back and raised their conference. So there's a lot of, mistrust, I think, among these guys. And that's kind of playing out right now as they go to 16 because the SEC and the Big Ten prior to this new contract beginning next year essentially told the rest of college football, we'll have our own playoff and nobody cares about you guys.
Yeah.
And ESPN and Fox will love it and they'll promote it and nobody will care about you guys. Or you give us control of this playoff. So they gave them control of the playoff, said do what you got to do. And then when the SEC and Big Ten come up with their idea for the playoff of doing what they got to do, now these guys are complaining publicly. Now these guys are starting to say the quote-unquote in the best interest of the game. Let's hope they do it in the best interest of the game. And Sankey was fed up. He was fed up a couple days ago. He said in the best interest of the game, I'm the guy that kept college football together. Our presidents didn't even want the playoff. They would have been much happier just going on our own, having our own playoff. So there's a lot going on with this right now, and there's a lot of egos being hurt. At the end of the day, Rick, it's too good of a product to screw up, and I think they'll figure it out.
One of the gentlemen making that comment was Jim Phillips, who, covering the ACC meetings as I do each and every year, total hypocrite in the way he's thought about everything as far as this playoff. But let's get back to the SEC here, Matt. In your opinion, first things first, 8 games or 9 games, they get $811 million a year from ESPN. Reportedly, if they add a 9th conference game, they'll make another 50 to 80 million a year. I know Brian Kelly has said, let's put together this deal where the Big Ten and the SEC plays yearly. He said even with 9 conference games. What do you think's going to happen with those two situations?
Well, first they're going to get more than 80 million if they add a 9th game. That's number one.
Okay, 80 million's not enough. So 900 million to school is not enough. Okay,
they'll get more than that. Okay, so I think this all depends on what they do with the playoff. Like if and how they format the playoff. Like if the playoff becomes a guaranteed, you're going to get those 4 guarantees no matter what, and you have a shot at those 3 at-larges. Now, one of those at-larges is automatically protected for Notre Dame if it finishes in the top 16. So it could be only 2 at-larges, but still you've got a shot to get 2 more. So I think if they have that format in place, you'll see them go to 9 conference games. Now, if they have the other format in place where it's at large, I think they'll stay at 8. And that's going to allow them, the entire conference, to do more of a scheduling agreement with the Big Ten where they want to play one time against each other during the season.
Mm-hmm.
If they go to 9 games, you're only going to see like a group of SEC teams play against Big Ten teams.
Right. I thought it was interesting. Matt Hayes, our guest. Of course, you hear Matt daily here, 2 to 4. And you can also read Matt Hayes at USA Today, covering the great sport of college football. I thought last week spoke volumes of where these 2 games are headed. There was some concern that they were going to straight seed in the NFL and no longer reward the 8 divisional winners, a first-round home playoff game, which is so important here in town because Jacksonville could win 9 games and host a playoff game. At the same time, the College Football Playoff Committee says, forget about that. Forget about rewarding these teams with a bye. They all lost when they played in the first round. So we're going to do straight seeding. And again, kind of goes into a situation where they want the best. So I admire that part out of college football in the playoff. It feels like they're moving forward with a little bit less of, well, you won a championship. It was a smaller conference, yada, yada, yada. We want the best, eventually 16 teams that we can put out there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. And I think it's smart for this season. There's no doubt about it. I think the following season is going to be very interesting, Rick. is because it's not going to be 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, 3 versus like that. It's more than likely going to be double byes for the first two. The first two schools that finish 1 and 2 in the final poll will get a double bye.
Really?
The 3 and 4 will get a single bye. Yeah, believe me, that's what the SEC and the Big Ten want.
Wow.
Because they want the best teams. They want the best teams in the semifinals and finals. So there's a lot to go on with this thing. And people think it's just as simple as, well, just figure it out and put it out there. But there's so much backbiting and infighting going on right now between the power conferences, and there's so much, there's so many of these public statements that are absolutely doing no good at all, none.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like you and I look at this and we think, why wouldn't you just go 1 to 16, 2 to 15, 3 to 14? They're not going to do that. It's just they want to give a reward, number one, to teams for the regular season, to keep the regular season interesting, and they want to do everything they can to get their teams further along in the playoffs.
Yeah. Leave us with this. Another situation that has been happening all throughout the college football world during these spring conference meetings is trying to, regulate the transfer portal. What's your best guess there? And again, how are they? I mean, Charlie Baker has no voice. He's like, he's like yelling out a window. I mean, and no one's going to listen to the NCAA president. How do you put together this transfer rule? Can you do it by conference, or can you do it as a whole, hopefully with a new CEO coming in, taking over college football?
All right, so there's a couple things. Number one, these guys are called the Autonomous Four for a reason. They're already detached from the NCAA other than enforcement, and now they've got a plan for enforcement, which is what the CEO you're talking about. I don't know how that's going to work, Rick. It could be an absolute catastrophe. Who knows, right? But they're trying. They're trying. And that's the one thing that the SEC 80s, specifically Trev Alberts, was saying this too, is, look, we don't know how this is going to work as far as rev share. He said that if we make a mistake, we're going to fix it and try again, because no one knows how it's going to work. My best guess is their goal is to try and limit player movement. And right now it's wide open, as you know. And if they try and limit it other than players agreeing to it, they're going to go to court. And the only way you can limit it is one of two ways. Number one is collectively bargaining. They're not going to do that. And number two is you're going to have contracts like coaching contracts. So you're going to have situations where they have deals. If they leave, then they owe money back to the school. Or if they leave, whatever school they go to, that school owes the other school the money that they paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're trying to get clawbacks of some sort, financially anyway, that could slow down movement. But at the end of the day, Rick, if somebody wants to leave and the school wants to pay them, it doesn't matter. They're going to pay the money. It's the same with coaches. If a coach wants to leave and there's a university that wants to pay him, it doesn't matter. Remember when McElwain wanted to leave Colorado State and he had like a $7 million buyout, and Florida said, all right, we'll give you a home game, one of the body bag games, so that's $2 million, and then we'll give you another $3 million in cash, and then McElwain will pay the other $2 million.
Yeah.
So there's ways around everything, and I think that's the same. It'll be the same thing with players too.
Wow, this thing's a mess. I just hope they can fix it.
It's an absolute mess.
It's
an absolute mess, and I don't. Here's the best part, though, Rick. Take heart, everybody listening. There's no way they can screw up this game. No way. No matter all they've done and all the fighting, football is almost bulletproof, Rick.
Yeah.
NFL and college football.
Well,
You can't hurt it.
Yeah, but the difference is the NFL gets it, man, and they but weekly the NFL has something for you to chew on, and college football, man, they're just really lacking great leaders. And anyway, we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, it's Rick. All this goes away with collective bargaining. Eventually, they'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's what will happen.
There you go. Hey, Matt, always a lot of fun. Thank you, man.
Okay, buddy.
There he goes. Matt Hayes, 2 to 4 daily, right here on 92.5 FM and 1010. Also covers college football for USA Today. Legislation. That's what it's going to come down to. Speaking of which, we lost one of them today when it comes to making decisions. And certainly that was the case for John Thrasher. He was the 15th president at Florida State. He was a member of the Florida Senate. He had the chair of the Republican Party right here in the state of Florida. He was a speaker of the Florida House of Representatives. I mean, his resume is absolutely spectacular. I did not know John Thrasher well. I didn't. But a lot of you out there did. And this has been a rough week for Florida State fans. The loss of Bradley Jennings, who was one of my favorite quotes. And he was part of that national championship team in 99, actually led the Knowles in tackles that year, and had been a high school coach here in town. I believe it was Tuesday or earlier in the week when, unfortunately, he passed at the age of 47. Now, John Thrasher at the age of 81. So, certainly condolences to everyone involved who were friends when it comes to John Thrasher or Bradley Jennings. All right, tonight's show brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. It's a lot of awful driving that is going on. And if you're injured, you are personally injured, and it's happened to you because of a car crash, you need the very best care that you can get. Enter the good folks at Alexander Law Practice. Rick Alexander, he has made it his mission to fight for you for more than 30 years. Okay, he's a former prosecutor. He's been representing those injured in automobile crashes, particularly where you're hurt because of a careless driver. All right, and you may have tried to call a law firm. They haven't gotten back to you. You're going to get an immediate response from Alexander Law, okay? An immediate response. You're going to get the individual care that you deserve. You're not going to have to come up with any money initially to retain them, and there could be car trouble. It could be in the shop. You may not have a way to get to work. There's all sorts of problems that you're dealing with. Talk to the people at Alexander Law Practice. They're going to absolutely put you in the right direction. You'll never come out of pocket, all right? Give them a call, 400-6600, free review, 400-6600, or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com. Thank you to Matt Hayes. Let's if you want to jump in on anything college football related, hit us on the text line, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can join us on YouTube. Welcome all of those watching us on 1010XL into the night. We can do that, and we can get to our topic. I actually have another topic that I'm going to introduce at 7 o'clock, which I think you'll like. But for the most part, I've been hinting around this. I can't imagine you mentioning anyone not named the offensive line. But Duval, what is the Jaguars' weakest position group?
There's a reason play-by-play has been on the radio for more than 100 years.
There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. And
Your home for live play-by-play is 1010XL.
Just when you thought we couldn't bring you more, Keon Atlantic is here with a brand new store. We have the same great team to treat you well, with new savings during our grand opening sale. Keon Atlantic is here with the new store. Shop our best offers and largest selection yet. Save big during our grand opening sale. Is there something for everyone on our lot? You bet. If you're ready to experience something new, the all-new Keon Atlantic is ready for you. Your perfect ride is a visit away. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
2 classic albums, 1 night of hits. Styx presents The Grand Illusion. Kevin Cronin Band presents REO Speedwagon's High Infidelity. June 2nd, Daly's Place. Brotherhood of Rock Tour. Plus Don Felder, formerly of the Eagles. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. 2 classic albums in their entirety. Styx, The Grand Illusion, REO Speedwagon's High Infidelity. Don't miss the event of the summer.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
The
housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Buying a diamond, wedding band, or piece of fashion jewelry in Jacksonville? You have two choices. You can go to locally owned Beard's Diamonds, or you can go to one of those mega national chain jewelry stores. The national chains are pretty much all the same. In fact, did you know that some of them are owned by the same conglomerate? Yes, the same Wall Street company owns all the big names. So if you're looking for extreme value with genuine personal attention, come experience the Beard's Diamond difference. At Beard's, our diamonds come straight from the source. We hand select each one for maximum brilliance. We don't have to apply corporate markups and tack on salespeople commissions, so we beat the chains on price every single day. Beard's has the strongest warranties, not gotcha clauses in fine print. Beard's has all the top designers, including Tacori and Viraggio. Beard's doesn't have out-of-state regional managers calling about sales quotas. We are all local, family-owned with total freedom to do what's right for our customers. Beard's Diamonds, all the selection, quality, value, and service you want from local people, accountable only to you. Beard's in the St. John's Town Center.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 30th, 1927, Walter Johnson records his 110th and final shutout of his Baseball Hall of Fame career, the most in MLB history.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
This is Mark Nato. My sons and I have seen the doctors and PAs at Southeast Ortho for everything from lumbar spine stress to elbow tendonitis. Southeast has always been there, been truthful, and always been on point. Everything they say happens. We can't thank them enough for what they've done and the great care that they have taken of our sons.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hi folks, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee & Kate's Glass. Those beautiful custom glass shower enclosures, maybe a new mirror, a glass tabletop. They can even replace your foggy or cracked glass without having to replace the whole window. Lee & Kate's is local. They're family owned. They've been a part of our community since 1926. Boy, they've taken care of me, including our brand new offices at Walk Off Charities. They did a great job. I promise they'll do the same for you. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
I'm Karen, owner of Clay Solar Installation Partners, your local woman-owned solar company. Did you hear? JEA is raising rates again. With summer right around the corner, those power bills are only going to go up. But with solar, you can take control of energy costs and say goodbye to rising rates. At Clay Solar, we make switching easy and affordable. Stop paying more for power and own it. Visit claysolar.com to schedule a consultation today.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
ये आपको भी हो सकता है.
Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Such a heartwarming song because it can happen to you, people. If not, marry rich. Just don't get a prenup.
You reach, it can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to everyone eventually.
Yes was the homecoming band in God's country. I'm thinking maybe 87, 88. At the Leon County Civic Center. Good stuff. Great band. Late at night, if you got nothing going on, just tune everything out and put on Yes. All right, some good and bad as we wrap up college football. Let's begin with the bad because, well, let's begin with the bad. Caitlin DeBoer is like being left out of the playoff last year at Alabama. He's like, quote, you wonder what would have happened if other people would have played our schedule, end of quote. Bro, you lost to Vanderbilt, okay? That's just one of those deals where you sit this one out. You lost to freaking Vanderbilt, okay? You also got beat by a 6-7 Oklahoma team. What a classic Oklahoma team. So let's begin with the bad. The good is this. Let's enter Marcus Freeman, okay? He came out and said he believes Notre Dame should play USC every single year. Okay? There's talk that that's going to end. For those of you who've forgotten, the Michigan-Notre Dame rivalry is gone. I thought with the rating of these other conferences and the additional, particularly when you get to the SEC and you get to the Big Ten, that we were going to continue to have some great rivalries and maybe even renew some old rivalries. And I'm not talking about Florida, Miami, but I am, Texas A&M needs to play every year. Oklahoma, Nebraska, I think needs to play every year. Notre Dame, Michigan needs to play every year. Pitt, Penn State needs to play every year. Those who don't get as much attention, Oregon State, every year. Arizona State. Washington State. Utah, BYU. Yes, it's important. And, I mean, the only thing, and this is being 100% honest, the only thing that you can say without argument now is that college football has always been better than the NFL when it comes to what? Rivalries. The NFL has no rivalries. Okay? And if you're going to waste my time and tell me that the Bears and the Packers is some great rival, they've won 3 Super Bowls in the last, 60 years? No. The Giants and the really? I mean, who's Jacksonville's biggest rival? Titans. This is year 31. The Titans.
Not even close.
Can you develop a rivalry if Trevor Lawrence and C.J. Stroud make their way into top 5 quarterbacks and that becomes a showdown to win the AFC South and consistently that becomes the case year after year after year after year? Yeah, but who out there is going to bet on that? College football, rivalries, so much better than that's the only thing that you could say about the NFL that isn't where it should be. There are better rivalries in the NHL. There are better rivalries in Major League Baseball. The NBA's kind of gone flaky as of late. It really has. So I don't know if I would argue we did tooth and nail on the NBA. When I grew up, the NBA was about great team basketball. I mean, the rivalry between the Celtics and the 76ers was legendary. And then when you had the clash between the Celtics and the Lakers, it's the greatest that we've ever seen. Maybe Michael Jordan ended rivalries by winning those 6, championships in 8 years. Of course, he took 2 years off because of gambling. But that's it. I mean, any other aspect of NFL to college, we can sit down and discuss, and we can have a healthy argument. But there's no argument when it comes to rivalries. That's where college football had a massive advantage over the NFL. And I get it, okay? You can line up Notre Dame, Michigan on a college football Saturday, and as great as that rivalry is, you can take the Los Angeles Chargers and have them play the Carolina Panthers, and ratings-wise, the NFL will crush them, okay? Because the NFL is king. I'm not arguing that point. The NFL is a beast. But that's the only thing that I think, without argument, college football has always had over the NFL. And they're losing that now, getting rid of these rivalries. So 77-59. I've asked the good people of Duval. First of all, 68-73, Steelers Jags was a good one. It absolutely was. I remember there was a period of time, when Jacksonville in its infancy, Pittsburgh could not win here. Jacksonville could not win there. And, they broke up the conferences or the divisions, and they did what they've done. But, yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. That was their first big rivalry, yeah. Back to the conversation where I've asked, I knew I would get this. Weakest position group for the Jaguars. The 77-59 says, weakest position group is the quarterback room. They're still out there, even on a Friday. All right, let's do this in our second hour. I just told you that college football to pro football and talking about rivalries. Well, we want to believe that the NFL is fair and that the salary cap has a system where you can't be great for too long or really bad for too long. However, 12 of the 32 teams still have not won a Super Bowl. CBS Sports did a real nice job identifying who they believe the next team is to win the Super Bowl, and they ranked them. We're going to go through that, but I'm going to take it farther, and I've done some work on this. I want to get directly to the quarterback position. Right? Jalen Hurts finally won it. Finally, he's young in his career. He's been to the Super Bowl twice. Who is the next quarterback to win a Super Bowl? It's going to happen eventually, right? We're going to dive into that during our second hour as well. So it's great to have you with us. My name's Rick Ballou, doing Denmark as well is with you, and we do it tonight up until 8 o'clock.
I'm Josh Scobie.
Scobie sweeps the leg, 59 yards away.
On 1010XL.
He's got it. Jacksonville wins.
Are you ready to step up to luxury?
Check out the power of our exciting 2025 lineup, including the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique.
With over 15 electric Cadillacs in stock and more on the way, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and embrace luxury with a twist.
At Randy Marion, there are no tariffs. Visit Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, and see why our electric lineup turns heads.
Don't miss out. Drive Cadillac, electric or gas. We have both. Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resistol on approved credit.
Ballou here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out The Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At The Y summer camps, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web. Precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Oh, no. No.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck.
904-862-6769.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zero Res a call. Mayhem. 3-room special starting at $149, plus the 4th room is free. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise and towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations, providing advanced urological care to improve men's health and sexual vitality. Don't suffer through prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Here come the dancers. Where's everyone dancing tonight? Guys like me don't hit the dance floor all that much anymore. Except for at weddings and Irish wakes. Where's the good place to go dancing, Dylan? That's right in your age group. You should be out there running and ripping.
That's the beach bars.
Oh.
Any of them.
Okay. And a lot of those beach bars have changed. Ragtime's no longer.
Yeah, I know the last couple of years they've changed the name on 2 or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Tell you where I do a lot of dancing is over at Ginger's place. It's a fun place. Always a good time. Florida State up 5-2. Bethune-Cookman, bottom of the 5th. Game was delayed because of lightning. So, Florida State playing in Tallahassee. Some earlier finals. Boy, the Gators got clobbered. They were down 9-0 before you knew it. East Carolina, a winner today, 11-6. Florida in this series was minus 345. You lay $345 to win 100. East Carolina plus 250. So we'll see what ends up happening. Or for this game, I should say, it's a 14 tournament. Florida State favored by 8.5, $8.50. Big time dollars against Bethune-Cookman. Georgia, a winner today, 20-4 over Binghamton. And how about the Canes? An upset here. They were plus 120. Bama was favored minus 155 in Tuscaloosa. The Miami Hurricanes take the game 5-3 over Bama. Arkansas is the favorite to win the national title. Then LSU. Then this is amazing with the SEC. Okay, these are the odds to win an Natty. Arkansas 4-1. LSU 6-1. Texas and Vanderbilt 18-1. Georgia 17-2. Then finally you get to North Carolina 17-2. Tennessee 9-1. Auburn 12-1. Oregon 20-1. Florida 22-1. Clemson 25-1. Coastal Carolina 25-1. Florida State 33-1. Those are the odds to win a national title. Let's see. Any other notables? The Rebels of Ole Miss, 40-1. Georgia Tech, 45-1. Mississippi State, 50-1. Duke, 66-1. Bama, 75-1. North Carolina State, 75-1. Oklahoma, and 80-1. Louisville, 90-1. What the heck's Miami? Miami, 150-1. Wow. 64 teams in this tournament, as we know. The next time we speak, we'll be down to 16, as long as Mother Nature does its part. All right, let's look at some of these position groups. Getting a lot on defensive tackle, including the 32-29. Kind of expected that. I mean, that's fair. If you're not going offensive line, I haven't seen anyone support my offensive line. What is... I know we talked about this briefly. We were going to make it a topic. It was either a week ago or whatever, and then we kind of fell off it. What do you believe the weakest position group is right now?
The offensive line, 1, and then I'd say 2 is safety. You just don't know who is going to be playing there. Really, the secondary, you kind of have a feel for Jarian Jones, Tyson Campbell, Jordan Lewis playing slot. Safety, up in the air. I mean, is it going to be Savage, Antonio Johnson? Is Dewey going to get some playing time back there? Maybe one of the guys drafted, the guy from Navy. I'd say safety behind the offensive line.
I think it would be cool if it's Eric Murray and Caleb Branshaw, if you can get that type of production out of a third-round draft pick in the, was it the Jaguars' second overall pick? I believe he was. Ahead of, or it was, I have to look back on it. The offensive lineman, Wyatt Milam. They were both third-round picks. I think they went like 86 and 88. I honestly right now don't remember who was selected first. But that would be cool. I can see that with safety. 32.99 defensive tackle last year was all I saw them do was engage their opposite offensive line, stand up straight and wait for the whistle. Yeah, it was a really bad year. And, in some circles, it feels like Jacksonville could use a body there. A lot of you didn't like yesterday me kind of pumping some oxygen into the response of Eric Armstead, and I'm still really surprised by that. Okay, this organization elected to keep him, and I understand how upset you were about the Aziz situation and the tweet. And if you listen to my show regularly, I do appreciate it. But I just crushed the man for it. I think I even used the word unforgivable. But time has passed, and I'm tired of this football team losing. I'm tired of seeing you folks being upset. If Armstead can have a big year, that massively changes things around. Mason Smith, out of all the talk of players losing weight, Mason Smith's the one guy to me looks like he's added weight. I hope when it's all said and done, it's good weight. You know, Devon Hamilton is a guy who always has a great camp, but is certainly not consistent. And then you're just talking about guys. Can you get anything from Jordan Jefferson, Tyler Lacey? I wouldn't be shocked at all if they add a DT at some point. Here during the offseason, I'll even go as far as to say when they form their 53-man roster and you add your practice squad players, are they hanging all over the waiver wire where they can possibly go on out and bring in a veteran defensive tackle? I think there's a chance that could happen. Ballou, if you consider the tight end group, letting a Pro Bowl tight end go was a mistake. That is the only decision that this front office made that I disagreed with. The fact that they paid Evan Ingram $13.5 million to go away. I still cannot digest that. However, I understand why they did it. He's a great teammate. He was the first one out at the Miller Electric Center. He was the last one to leave. He was injured. He caught a lot of balls. The problem, he's not a blocker. And if you look at Liam Cohen's offense and what he is about, and you look at the guys that he has added, they are dual tight ends. And really the three that have been added recently are primarily blocking tight ends. You know, Brenton Strange, I think, has a real good opportunity to have, I don't want to say a breakout season because he caught 40 balls last year, right? But he still was a high draft pick. You know, I'm not going to come out here and say he's going to double his reception intake, not with all the wide receivers and talent they have. But that was the only thing that I would question. I would have kept Evan Ingram. And I'm sure the answer to that question was simply, we want a tight end who can pass protect. We want a tight end that can be a part of our rushing attack when it comes to blocking. You know, there's a lot of stuff out today about Kyle Pitts. I saw one entity, I don't know who it was, that had 3 teams to look for, and Jacksonville was listed. So I did a little research on Kyle Pitts, and I went back and I've looked at things. He's a below average run blocker. Now, when you think Kyle Pitts, you don't think run blocking, you think catching the football. Certainly had a very good rookie season. He has fallen off ever since then. Well, I think they believe they have their guy in Brenton Strange. And that would make very little sense to spend all this money bringing Kyle Pitts after you're paying $13.5 million to let Evan Ingram go. Just my way of looking at that. More defensive tackle. Running back room. Really? The running back room. To me, that might be arguably the most intriguing battle in camp, right? Especially if you were part of the it's never going to work for Travis Etienne. I'm keeping Travis Etienne for his final year, okay? First of all, you're not going to get anything worthy in return. I mean, what would you best case scenario? What would you move Travis Etienne for? Okay, I mean, please don't say 5th round. I don't think you can get a 5th round pick for this guy. I think you could possibly get a 6th round pick, if not a 7th round pick, and he's costing you just a smidge over $6 million. So I'm going to keep him. I do think that he can really be a big part of this screen game, you know, and he's been nicked up and he's been destroyed behind the line of scrimmage. I also love it when guys are in contract years. It's a prove-it situation. So I'm going to hold on to Etienne. If this Bayshell Tootin kid outperforms him We've seen that before. We saw James Robinson outperform Leonard Fournette. There have been situations like that. Tank Bigsby, was so mysterious as a rookie. He was just out there. He was on cloud 9 somewhere, but he really did improve. And it would be great to know that you can rely on Tank Bigsby to be the bell cow, to be the guy who is going to get the majority of the carries. But what if this Tootin kid all of a sudden shows up and is spectacular? Again, he put it on the carpet during his very first practice. Tell you what, I look at the youngster, LaQuinn Allen, too, out of Syracuse. Looks like he's got some ability. So I'm going to disagree with the running back position. Here's on YouTube. Welcome to those watching us. 1010XL into the night. You could argue wide receiver depth. You know what? You could. I'm not going to say the reason why. I think you can figure it out. But your starting 3 are absolutely dynamic. I mean, home run hitters. I don't know if there's a faster group in the NFL than Thomas Jr., Hunter, and Diami Brown. I honestly do not. That's a lot of fun, especially when you think of, they're replacing Gabe Davis and they're replacing Christian Kirk. Parker Washington is a solid number 4. Parker Washington has practiced a year ago at all 3 wide receiver positions. I think, he's primarily a slot wide receiver. But that gives you 4. And I understand what you're saying when it comes to depth because, if anything happens to those guys, then it's like, whoa, wait a minute now. Joshua Cephas, Austin Trammell, Chandler Brayboy, Cam Camper. I tell you who's looked good is this kid out of Duke. I still don't know how to say his last name. Is it Eli Pancol? Do we know? Have you heard it? Is it Pansol? I think it's Pancol. He's a guy that I've noticed. But, I mean, depth-wise, okay. And, the perfect world is that you can get through it with those 4 wide receivers. In that your 5th and 6th wide receivers, if active, and obviously a 5th one is going to be active, but are there for one reason and one reason only. They're special teamers, which is incredibly important. What if Travis Hunter plays more defense in the game? Yeah, we'll get to that another time. People, my Mary Rich comment. It's fair, right? Especially if you're like on your 2nd or 3rd marriage. I'm always here for you. I'm going to give you proper advice. Is it a little big man? Tell me ETN is not a good route runner. No, but he's good at the screen game. I mean, he caught more than 70 balls 2 years ago, and he's got that relationship now that's gone, 7, 8 years with Trevor Lawrence. So, I still think you can get a year out of him. 0030 running backs, Ballou, you just can't tell because of the terribly bad coaches they have had. Etienne and Lawrence will have standout seasons. Great players rise up. You know what? There's a chance that could happen, especially with Lawrence. There's no doubt. And I think this station has done a really good job identifying all of the problems. I know that I can't go a week. It's almost like a disclaimer discussing why things have gone sideways for Trevor Lawrence. And the first thing is he hasn't been healthy. The second thing is he's had no rushing attack. The third thing is he's had the worst offensive line in football. The fourth thing is he has had terrible coaching. Terrible leadership at the coaching position, terrible confidence by the coaches. And what about play calling? Oh, my God. So, yeah. Again, we talking about the weakest position group. I say it's the offensive line. Well, 6 new bodies. What if this offensive line figures it out? What if Liam Cohen figures out the strategy, the blocking scheme, the way he figured it out during preseason last year in Tampa Bay? What if coaching is a huge part of this? Okay, there's still a lot of the same talent, including ETN and Lawrence. But what if you're coached better? What if they're actually running plays that give you an opportunity to pick up yardage? What if they're able to identify what they do well and what they do not do well, and you call the plays based on that? What if this organization, what if this coaching staff is able to figure out what these players do best? I mean, Liam Cohen this week talked about Diami Brown and putting him in a position and doing things that he's never done before after spending 4 years in D.C. That's coaching. That's looking at a player saying, we know what he's done, and we believe we know what he can do. Let's run this route. Let's run that route. Yada, yada, yada. And that's brilliance. You know, and there's not a long list of them out there. But there are some coaches, both offensively and defensively, that are so good at their craft that is why they're head and shoulders above everyone else. You know, this whole Jalen Ramsey thing, Jalen's just one of those guys that he's got about a 2 to 3 year life expectancy in a city, and then he is just going to turn that thing upside down. And he did it as a true freshman at Florida State when Jimbo threw him out of practice. He did it here. He did it in L.A. He's doing it in Miami. You know, that whole thing about the comments he made about their former defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. Are you kidding me? I mean, come on, Jalen. Have a little bit more smarts than that. Vic Fangio is a genius. Vic Fangio was just part of a Super Bowl winning team where Mahomes dropped back 42 times. He didn't have to blitz once. He got by rushing 4. Jalen just burns bridges, you know, Mike McDaniel here. And he said he was straight with Marone at the end, but of course he was really down on Caldwell and Coughlin. He's going to, you know, by the time I get back here next week, a lot of people believe that Ramsey's going to be dealt. But he just, you know, I like bad guys. I do. I like Jalen. I'm always going to be a Jalen fan, even though I'm fully aware of what he did walking himself out of town. I'm a Jalen guy. Jalen was part of that national championship team at Florida State, and, you know, it's like you got to hold on to that, especially when you look at how much of a disaster Florida State is right now. But there's a difference. Bad guys who are great players are good. Bad guys who are players that are losing ability is not necessarily good. Bad guys who are bad players is awful. And you can't have it. Yeah, that whole Miami deal, man, they're going to Janu Smith, Tyreek Hill, Jalen. I've got a bunch of people asking me about the Tyreek Hill comment on Hunter, where he called him ass. He was joking. You know, and that's editing. Again, that's taking a clip and not the full deal. But that's okay. I mean, not everyone has to agree. Maybe Travis Hunter takes that and uses it as motivation. I love that comment about being a terribly coached team. You know, I want to believe that this coaching staff is going to be a real difference maker. Now, I'm staying even keel on it. okay? Because I understand that there have been times before where I've been really excited. Okay, I'm not afraid to admit mistakes. I was really excited about Gus Bradley. I imagine a lot of you out there were as well. You don't have to admit it. What's great about being a fan is one of the definitions of one of my definitions of fan is you never have to admit when you're wrong. So I'm talking to an audience right now, and be honest. Not one of you thought Gus Bradley was going to be a good coach. Now that we've moved on, let's go. I thought it would work with Doug Peterson. Mild-mannered, Super Bowl, I absolutely thought it would work with Doug Peterson. And for the record, I'm going to maintain that if he wasn't loyal to Press Taylor, I think the 4 wins a year ago, I think if Doug Peterson called plays, they win 7 or 8 games. What would that have meant? Well, I'll tell you what it would have meant. You wouldn't have been able to get Travis Hunter in the draft. How we doing Friday? Right? Got to take another break here? Or,
yeah, we got to take a break here.
Okay. I'm just loving this, getting all this input on this Friday. All right, let's have a little fun with this on the other side. Okay. Let's talk about this quarterback deal. Next up to win a Super Bowl. That's next here on your home of the Jags.
Where is he? Where did he go?
Where's he going? 1010XL. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
The Gators have qualified for the 2025 NCAA baseball tournament, where they've been selected as the number 2 seed at the Conway Regional hosted by Coastal Carolina. The Gators will take the field against the 3 seed East Carolina Pirates this Friday, May 30th. First pitch scheduled for noon. Florida's back in the NCAA tournament for the 17th time under head coach Kevin O'Sullivan, the second longest streak in the country, tailing Vanderbilt.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. When it's smooth as silk, Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On May 30th, 1927, Walter Johnson records his 110th and final shutout of his Baseball Hall of Fame career, the most in MLB history.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
You can help Micah's Place support domestic violence victims by playing in the Par for a Purpose golf tournament June 20th at the stunning Golf Club of Amelia Island. Register at micahsplace.org/golf.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
You have healing power. Even writing a letter or volunteering can help heal a veteran. Find out more at healvets.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Need cash? Peaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash, and they're ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. And gold market prices are at a record high. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com, COYLE, jacks.com.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball at the newly renovated Vistar Ballpark is your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results.
I'm Brendan from Checkmate Coatings. Our precision coatings make your floors the MVP of any space.
Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
This is Hayes Carline, and I'm so proud of my guy, Leon Searcy.
Man, I used to want to eat all the time, but just 1 month on Precision Guided Weight Loss, and I've already dropped 15 pounds.
And I lost 25. No side effects, just results.
The GLP, one curbs my cravings and keeps me feeling full. It's been easier than I expected, and I feel amazing.
Their staff is great, and best of all, no surprise costs.
If you're ready to bring sexy back this summer, visit pgweightloss.com.
Physician Guided Weight Loss, safe, doctor supervised.
And it works.
David here with Royal Pest Services. Man, don't let your yard be torn up by that heavy aeration machine this spring. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to learn more about our granular aeration. Broadcast throughout the tree and shrubs to break up that compacted soil. Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Friday night at the Blue Crab House. Heck yeah. That's a lot of fun. Up until 9 tonight. So you got plenty of time to get on out there right off of San Jose on Julington Creek Road. Call ahead, order as well. Pick up. Full bar. Love it. Remember, Sundays, $2.50 Bloody Marys and mimosas, and they're open Sunday at noon. Tomorrow at 4:30, but Sunday at noon to 9. And $2.50 Bloody Marys, $2.50 mimosas. So that is the Blue Crab House, open every day except for Monday. They do shut it down the first day of the week. Although some of you actually believe that the week begins on Sunday, which is just one of the stupidest things I've ever heard, honestly. And I don't care what the calendar says. Who wakes up on Sunday morning, they're like, yeah, this is going to be a great week. No, you're hungover as a mother, and you're recovering, and you're getting back after it. Monday begins the week. I mean, Sunday is the start. It's fix the calendar. Seriously. Fix it. Sunday begins the week. If just let me tell you something right now. If you're one of those people and you bring that up and you stick by it, bro, you are awful. I want no contact. I don't even want to have a conversation with you if you're actually going to tell me that the week begins on Sunday. Wow. I feel for everyone around you. Week begins on Monday. All right. This was CBS Sports. I love this conversation. We get into it all the time. You know, there's 12 teams who have never won a Super Bowl. We know there's 4 teams who have never been to a Super Bowl. But it's really kind of convoluted because you would think that there's far more when it comes to numbers. That is not really the case. And what they do is they rank 12-1 the 12 teams that have never won a Super Bowl and their belief in who is next, going 12 through 1. All right, 12th is Cleveland. And, of course, they've never won a Super Bowl. That makes sense. Carolina comes in at number 11. Mm-hmm. Tennessee, 10. Atlanta, 9. The Jaguars, 8. Arizona at 7. I mean, we really believe that Arizona's going to win a Super Bowl before the Jaguars? Anyway, continue on. Minnesota at 6. You know, Minnesota, the Tarkenton years and what have you, they've actually been 4 times, so they just haven't won it. The Chargers at 5. Houston at 4. Cincinnati at 3. Detroit at 2. And, of course, everyone's favorite, Buffalo at 1. I remain one of those who believes that we're never going to see the Buffalo Bills win a Super Bowl in our lifetime. I just do. I think they're snake bit. But without question, if you were to poll fans or you were to poll media members and you were to say, who is the next quarterback? Let's get it now. Let's take this material and I want to switch it to quarterback, right? I went through it today. As far as I know, there's only 5 starting quarterbacks in the NFL who have won a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco is the guy you got to put in there right now because apparently he is going to be the starter, at least early on, for Cleveland, right? Jalen Hurts won it last year. Pat Mahomes, Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson in New York. There are your 5. If Aaron Rodgers does sign with Pittsburgh, then he becomes the 6th guy. Let's take this now, and it doesn't have to necessarily be teams that haven't won a Super Bowl. Who are the leading candidates as a quarterback to win the next Super Bowl? Josh Allen would be number 1 on everyone's list. I would actually say Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is that guy. I think you can make a case for Brock Purdy in San Francisco. I think you can make a case for Jaden Daniels in D.C. And that's really it. I mean, I do not see Justin Herbert right now as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I don't see J.J. McCarthy as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I don't see C.J. Stroud as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You know, Jason Goff is the Jerry Goff, is the guy that I'll listen to you. I'll listen to that argument, but I think I would rank him 5th at best. Obviously, around here, we break it down each and every single day about Trevor Lawrence. He's nowhere close to being a Super Bowl winning quarterback today. It doesn't mean that can't change after all the things we've identified, okay? There's not a person alive that is going to project Trevor Lawrence to win the Super Bowl this year and Jacksonville to win the Super Bowl this year. You don't go 4-13, then turn around and win a Super Bowl. It just doesn't happen. I mean, honestly, the goal for this football team realistically should be to win the AFC South. And that's an accomplishment. Kyler Murray? I mean, again, I'm just throwing it out there. You know, the 5 quarterbacks are eliminated. You know, Mahomes would probably be many of your selection in Hurts. You know, it feels like even if Rodgers go to Pittsburgh, it's not going to work. If Wilson in New York, if Rodgers in Pittsburgh, no. Wilson in New York, no. Joe Flacco in Cleveland, no. Matt Stafford in L.A., no. That's an improved team, but no, right? You're probably going to pick Mahomes and Hurts, but they're not eligible. I'm talking about quarterbacks who have never won a Super Bowl before. Give me a top 3, Dylan. Who are you going with?
I'll go Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
That's a great one. How did this list forget Lamar Jackson?
Well, I guess because the Ravens.
Because Baltimore's won a title before.
Yeah,
there you go.
10 years ago with the
they've won 2. Actually, they won 2. Yeah,
that's right. I want to lean Joe Burrow, but I think that the ownership there is so bad, and they don't seem to care about the offensive line and fixing it. So I'll lean Detroit, even though I think Detroit's window of winning a Super Bowl has closed. I mean, my goodness, you talk about you feel for a franchise. The last 2 years, last year had the number 1 seed, had a bye, and then lost at home, and 2 years ago had a double-digit lead on the road at San Francisco and lost. It's just hard. You usually don't see that in the NFL when you're close and close and close. You don't see that time and time again. Usually you see like San Francisco, you get close, and then you bottom out like they did last year, and then they have to hit reset button and, get good again. I'll lean Detroit 3, Jared Goff.
Okay.
So Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff.
Forgot about Jackson. Absolutely. He may be number 1 on my list. I'm going to stick with Burrow, even though I heard what you said. I go Burrow 1, Jackson 2. That, to me, is head and shoulders above everyone else. And, again, I think most out there are going to pick Allen in Buffalo. I do not believe that's going to happen. I've simmered on Detroit and Goff. I almost feel like they hit their pinnacle, and they got a lot of decisions to make. They're talking about some cap casualties there. They got to get Aiden Hutchinson signed. We'll see. Brock Purdy, I'm going to put at 4. And Brock Purdy just never really seems to get the mention as one of the great quarterbacks right now in the league. I think when you get to San Francisco, you think of an unbelievable defense, and if they stay healthy, some really, valuable offensive players. And then I'll say Jaden Daniels at number 5. So there you go. Just outside of this list, I'll have Goff. And then I would put Trevor in. I just can't think of anyone else who I would put in. C.J. Stroud, Houston is a bad organization. You don't win Super Bowls when you're a bad organization. That is the point you made about Burrow is fair. And that could absolutely be it. Again, 32 teams. Only 20 teams have won a Super Bowl, right? 20. And I think a lot of these teams that have not been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, you can look at them and say it's because traditionally they're a bad organization. They are. Some of these Super Bowl winners won, rebuilt, and won again. Cleveland, no. Carolina, no. Tennessee, no. Absolutely. Atlanta, Michael Penix, okay, we don't know. We'll find out. I mean, young quarterbacks, will it work? I'll be the first to admit Jaden Daniels is a heck of a lot better than I expected him to be at this point in his career. But we said the same thing a year ago about C.J. Stroud. He blew it out of the ocean as a rookie and regressed as a sophomore. Kyler Murray, no way. Justin Herbert, no way. J.J. McCarthy, we've never seen him. What about these incoming guys? Caleb Williams, second year, Cam Ward. Who knows? But it's just, it's shocking to see that there are only 5 starting quarterbacks in the NFL who have Super Bowl wins. And you can make the case that 2 of them could be gone immediately. Joe Flacco in Cleveland and Russell Wilson in New York. I mean, we could be mid-September, and you could literally have 3 starting quarterbacks out of 32 teams who have won a Super Bowl. Mahomes, Hurts, and Stafford. Maybe Rodgers if he returns. But that, I mean, come on. That's crazy. 3. That's it. So any pick here, any decision's not wrong. We're eventually going to get more. And, you know, there was such a great era with drop-back passing quarterbacks that are no longer here. But, you know, Brady and both Mannings and Roethlisberger and Breeze. And I guess that's it. Did anyone else retire? But they all came and they all left. They gobbled up a lot of those Super Bowls. And you look at some pretty good quarterbacks who didn't win Super Bowls. You know, over the last 10 years, there's guys like Matt Ryan, Cam Newton. I mean, guys who played well, won MVPs or were there, had opportunities, and couldn't get it done. So, how about Baker Mayfield?
He's in that conversation. I mean, the way he's played the last 2 years, doesn't matter who his coordinator is. I'd put him right outside that top 3, though.
Certainly resurrected his career 2 years in a row in Tampa. And it's hard to win it. Didn't even mention Tua. I mean, but come on. When I say Tua, do you think Super Bowl winning quarterback? Especially with everything that's going on right now. I mean, say what you want, but you don't become a better football team when you trade Tyreek Hill, when you trade Jalen Ramsey. You don't become a better team. And that's, you know, reportedly what they're going to do. So anyway, I enjoyed this article. I thought it was good. I like stuff like this. If you want to comment, you can. Best way to do it, 641-1010. Text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. You can also get us on YouTube. 1010XL into the night.
He played for Jimmy Johnson, Bill Cowher, and Tom Coughlin.
Learn from the past, but do not live in the past.
And he's sharing the best stories with you.
And that's now.
Leon Searcy.
2 to 4.
On XL Prime Time.
On 1010XL.
Hey, folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
This summer, get ready to rock like never before. The Jacksonville Rock Orchestra brings the thunder with an electrifying night of Led Zeppelin like you've never heard it. Live at the Florida Theater, June 4th. Kashmir, Whole Lotta Love, and Stairway to Heaven reimagined with the full power of a rock orchestra. Led Zeppelin, orchestra style, only in Jacksonville. Get your tickets before they're gone at floridatheater.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Listen all day as 1010XL gives you news, notes, and analysis of organized team activities as they get ready for the upcoming season. Our coverage of OTAs is hoisted by Heroes Lawn Care and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Hello. The Checkmate Coatings phone line has you covered from the floor up. From tough sports topics to strong surfaces, Checkmate Coatings is your floor's missing piece and your connection to the sports world on 1010XL.
Got a leaky faucet, AC blowing hot air, a funky smelling septic tank? No worries, Duck Rooter has your back. We're your one-stop shop for plumbing, septic, and air conditioning, so you can stop juggling 3 companies and just make one easy call. Our expert techs are fast, friendly, and really know their ducks. I mean stuff. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckrooter.com. Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, AC, and a whole lot of quacking good service.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? Oh, I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. You've heard us talk about it. Window World, the #1 window replacement company in the USA, selling over 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years.
That's a lot of satisfied customers and why J.D. Powers has awarded Window World Best in Customer Satisfaction 3 out of 4 years.
Window World stands behind their slogan, simply the best for less. With Window World, you get top quality windows at a price that leaves more of your money in your bank account, and you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement industry. When compared to our competition, there is none. See for yourself. Call the competition. Get quotes from them. But before you buy, get Window World's free estimate and compare the quality of the windows and the price.
You'll see.
And when your new Window World windows are installed and they're saving you money on your energy bills, if anything goes wrong with those windows, Window World and I will be there to make it right. That's my guarantee.
Call Window World today. Start saving money on your new windows and your energy bills and take vacation with your savings. Window World, online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation? A fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, Edmonton is advanced. We will go to June 4th. That'll be Wednesday, June 4th. That'll be game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's a rematch from a year ago. Edmonton trying to even things up with the Florida Panthers. The odds makers favor Edmonton minus 120. Translation, if you do not know, you got to lay $120 to win 100. Florida plus 100. So basically even money. You lay down 100, you get back 100. And we'll see. Game 1 Wednesday night in Edmonton. They get the home ice. So that is going to be just a blast. And kind of hate that we go this weekend without it, but what are you going to do? Bottom of the 8th in God's country, Florida State up 5-2 over Bethune-Cookman. That game was delayed because of lightning earlier in the afternoon. Finals are in. Florida gets crushed by East Carolina, 11-6. They were down 9-0 in that game at one point. An upset win for the U. Miami knocked off Alabama today. Alabama was the favorite in the Hurricanes. and their baseball team win in Tuscaloosa 5-3. Also, Georgia, this game in Athens, a 20-4 victory over Binghamton. So 64 teams. Again, the next time we speak, we will be down to 16 teams in the College World Series in Major League Baseball. Also, I want to say a big day for Scotty Scheffler, but he shot a 70. Still good enough to only be 3 shots off the lead heading into the weekend. Nick Taylor today, a 68. Ben Griffin, after a 65 yesterday, a 72. So 7 unders at the Memorial, Jack Nicklaus's PGA Tour event. And Scotty Scheffler, right there, 3 strokes behind. So yeah, we'll see. You know, he was trying to win 3 in a row, did not in his home state of Texas. And, you know, after winning, at Byron Nelson and obviously winning the PGA Championship, Scotty Scheffler right back at it. And I love the fact that he's playing a lot of golf. It's a really good leaderboard. And Jack will do that. Jack's going to bring in the best outside of Rory McIlroy. We know that story. He was pretty upset that Rory said he's not going to make it. And I guess did not reach out to him to make it. Hey, before we go, does New York even this thing up, or does Indiana get it done? That will be actually tomorrow night. No game tonight. What do you think?
I think Indiana, they seal the deal. I think it'll be a great game coming down to the wire. And somebody's going to make a shot with about 30 seconds left, probably be Halliburton. And it'll be a great game, and that'll be a final game on NBA on TNT.
Kind of a weird night. We do not have an NBA or NHL game on this Friday night. Again, we'll get one tomorrow night. That's Game 6 in Indiana. The Knicks and the Pacers with Indiana 3-2. And then we'll get set for the NBA Finals against Oklahoma City. And, of course, as I just said, the Stanley Cup Finals do not begin until Wednesday, June 4th. I can't believe we're headed to June. Edmonton playing host to the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Okay, I'm off Monday. Hackers actually off tonight. I'm off Monday. I will be at Jaguars practice on Monday, their OTA. So when I'm here on Tuesday again at 6 o'clock, I'll have all of what I was able to see and hear. But I am going to miss Monday's program. Folks, have an outstanding weekend. Be safe out there. Thank you to Matt Hayes. Thank you to Dylan Denmark. Again, I'm Rick Ballou. Have a great weekend. I'll be at Jags practice Monday. Not on the air, however, but I will talk with you Tuesday at 6 o'clock.